Okay, so here's our toolbars. We have our standard. So if you hover over the toolbar, it'll give you information on what that icon does. That's open, save, print, copy, paste. Here's an important one. This is where you're going to add additional data, base maps. This aerial is actually a base map, and we're actually going to be getting data from online ArcGIS too. Selection is being able to pick something by selection or by location. There's interactive methods. The textbook's actually going to take you through step by step all the exercises on how to use the program. I'm only going to show you a few things that get you started and the ones that you're going to use most often. The next one is the scale. I can tell it to change the scale by clicking on this. I can scroll, but it's not going to be scrolling to a specific scale, possibly. So when you're working in your map and you're finalizing it, you really need to select the scale that you want to work at. So let me zoom out of here. Also, notice nothing's happening here. Here's where canceled is. There is a refresh button that you can also use to get it to refresh. The refresh button underneath view and then refresh or F5. So I'm just going to zoom in here and I'm going to say, whoops, pan that up. Also, you can, there's different types of zooming. So I'm going to just switch back and forth as I'm showing you these. This plus is click, hold the mouse button down, left click, hold the mouse button down, we'll zoom in. If you just click on the left mouse button, it actually zooms in bit by bit. Same with the minus. You can click the left mouse button and it'll zoom out bit by bit. If you use a window, it zooms out a lot. So I don't typically use the minus scrolled out unless I'm working on a very large area. So I zoom into my site. I don't worry about setting scale until the very end of when I'm working on the map. Your little pan hand, so you can click the pan hand. You can also use, let me get out of, here's all, escape does not work. If you're used to AutoCAD programs, escape, you keep hitting that escape button, guess what? It will not get out of the command. This little button here will actually escape you out of the command, the black arrow. So you can actually just center scroll, press the center scroll key down or scroll button down, and you can turn it into a pan also. I'm doing too many things at once. Sorry about that. You have the little full zoom extents. And when it does the zoom extents on this one, it's going to do the whole world, I believe, because I'm using this base map. And it's thinking, because take a look at the scale right here. Now, here's the, as I go through these things and I notice this, and you've got to be wondering, why does the world look like this? This is because of a projection, the map projection that this is on. So when we start working, we know that the earth is round, but there's different projections. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I'm going to zoom in. Let me see if I made a bookmark. Nope. I'm going to zoom in here. Another way you can actually zoom in is by clicking on your data. Let's say you don't know exactly where it is and it's taking way too long to regenerate. I can actually highlight a piece of data. My computer's going a little slow, so I apologize. Right-click the data. So at the name, not the point, right-click and go zoom to layer. And it will take you closer than where you were before. So I'm going to pan this down. And zoom in. Now, the next one is, oh, let me show you one more thing that would be helpful. Let's say I wanted to, in case I zoom too far out again and I wanted to go straight to it, I can come up here to bookmarks. Let me get this placed to the center of my area. This is the area of interest. I can create a bookmark and I can call it Valencia parcel and go OK. Now I can zoom out and then I should be able to go up here. Now I've got one called Valencia parcel. It pulls me right back. So when you start working, it might be nice to go ahead and set up a bookmark. This is a fixed zoom in, zoom out. There's also different zooms that you're looking at. This is a selection, selected features by line, parcel, polygons. We'll work with those in a bit. Like I said, that's my escape key. Identify. Identify tells me what that information is. All of these have objects associated with them. So we'll need to see what the data is for each of these objects. Or actually, they're called features, not just objects. You can change information by a symbology, but we'll get to that later. Hyperlinks, you can add hyperlinks, URL, pictures into a plan or map, HMLT pop-up. You can measure. So to measure distances, I can start here and tell you that distance is, oops, start and double click. It is 107 feet apart. You can, let me close that. You can find objects, find routes. We'll be using the Go To button. So the ones on these we use quite a bit, so you might want to really get familiar with it. So what if I lost, here's my table of contents. The table of contents has all of my information in it. So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to go over more of the table of contents.